Middle East, which continues to spiral out of control in an incredible way today. A lot of people turning the attention back to the issue that the president really isn't characterizing what's going on there as an uprising by radical Islamists, despite the fact that the Afghanistan president of Afghanistan, Ghani, referred to the perversion of Islam he talked about during his meeting with the president this week. And he's clearly not alone in that. President al-Sisi of Egypt has stated it in the similar manner. Jordan's King Abdullah also describing it in such a way. So joining me now is Louisiana Governor Bobby Jindal with his thoughts on what's going on here. Governor, very good to have you with us this morning. Busy morning, as you know. But we wanted to ask you about your reaction to that.
Well, Martha, thank you for having me. Look, it doesn't give me any joy to say this. I think President Obama has disqualified himself to be commander-in-chief. He refuses to identify the enemy that we face. He refuses to almost even say the words radical Islamic terrorism. He's giving us lectures about the Crusades. He is talking about job assistance and better governance and foreign aid. We need to hunt down and kill these terrorists. Radical Islam, Islam's got a problem. Radical Islam believes in treating women as second-class citizens. They believe in killing us. They detest our... You see our allies in the Middle East, they recognize this problem. The leaders of Israel, of Egypt, as you said, of other countries, of Jordan, other countries, they see the barbarism that is inherent in radical Islamic terrorism. Our president, how can we fight the problem if we won't even identify the problem? So unfortunately, I think he has disqualified himself to be commander-in-chief, and I worry because now you've got a president who seems intent on getting a deal with Iran, whose leadership says things like death to America that would allow them to develop nuclear capabilities. I think that is very dangerous, a very dangerous development for Israel, for Europe, and for the United States.
To negotiate with a leader who stands up in front of his people and says death to America, and then you sit down at the table with them. It's a real head shaker, to say the least. So now our allies, Saudi Arabia, Qatar, the UAE, Egypt, they're going after the situation, the Houthi situation, the Iranian encroachment in Yemen. Are we going to join them in that effort? And that puts us in an unusual position, doesn't it?
Martha, well, it's amazing under this president's lack of leadership. He's created a void. So Iran is now has more influence not only in Yemen, they've got more influence now in Iraq, they've got more influence in Lebanon and Syria. You see Iran's influence growing in our traditional allies, including not just Israel, but also Egypt, Jordan, the UAE, the Saudis, and others are very, very worried about this. I worry this president is so intent on getting a bad deal over no deal. He is coddling the mullahs in Iran, allowing them to exert their influence. Let's remember, not only do they chant death to America, they're supporting terrorist groups like Hamas and Hezbollah. They've already said they want to wipe Israel off the face of the earth. I worry about the legacy this president's going to leave, and that's why I signed on to the Tom Cotton letter saying that no deal would be binding on the next president, especially if it's not submitted to Congress. I would hope anybody thinking about running for president would also sign that letter. I also hope Congress will pass the bipartisan sanctions bill, putting more sanctions on Iran. Let's give this president the leverage he doesn't seem to want to get let's either get a good deal or let's walk away and have no deal, but let's not allow Iran to become a nuclear power.
We'll see. The clock's ticking on the framework, as you say. Governor, thank you very much. Good to have you here.